Okay, folks, I think we're ready to go.
We don't want to hear it. What's the temperature, Scott? Ours is 35. It's going to be 29 in the morning.
Okay, Mr. Secretary, we have a floor.
I agree.
A couple things. Evan, you want to talk about the filming just real briefly? So, what's going on?
Yeah, we've been trying to get Facebook Live up and running for a while now. This is our first test, so we'll see how it goes. So mind your P's and Q's for that side of things.
Okay. I want to thank you all for coming out on this blustery morning. Good to see you. Thank you. I think Cheryl's got the sign-up list. If you haven't signed up, you might pick that up on your way out. Okay, there's no follow-up items from December 15th. So we will open up with, we'll open up with the President's report. I'm going to be relatively brief, particularly on a couple of items, because I don't want to steal the thunder from Scott and we say we have some good news here and there this morning. Just talking about our financial position. In October, November, December, we had an effective cash balance of $180,000, give or take $1,000 each month. So that 3 months is very stable. And if you look back, it represents a 6% improvement over July, August, and September. And the 6% is, I mean, it's great that it's an improvement. It's small, but July, August, and September, normally that's our big quarter. So it's have our biggest quarter in the last quarter of the year is interesting. Okay. I just say the landing loss was for the last quarter was less than $5,000 a month, and that's well under what we budgeted for 2019. So that's very encouraging. At least we'll talk more about that. How many people have seen the e-blast that went out this week? Raise your hand. Not many. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what's in there. We got a lot of feedback last year about property conditions are slipping, not paying attention to property conditions. So we've got a property condition initiative, and it's based on the success we had with fences. We took 6 fences at a time that were deteriorated, needed repair and replacement. And we had 2 waves of 6, and we actually got all 12 fixed and 2 bonus fences. So we said, well, let's take the same approach with the property conditions. Let's identify the worst of the worst and put them in priority order and start working on them. And we've done that. We've been focused on the first 2. And the 2 worst properties in the community have gotten a lot better in the last month, 6 weeks. And we're about ready to tackle properties 3 through 5. So you'll hear more about this. Hopefully you'll see some of the progress throughout the community. I think you did with the fences. The things that we're targeting in the first quarter of the year, we're going to be talking a couple of these later in the meeting. We have a fallen Keystone wall. It was collapsed really about 6 or 8 months ago due to drainage problems coming off our tennis courts. I got a note from Mr. Merkling, Brian Merkling at 331 Harborview, and he said the work that's been done has solved the drainage problem. So we appreciate the feedback on that, and we're ready to fix the wall. So we'll be talking about getting the money to fix the Keystone wall shortly. There's several safety items behind the cabanas. We'll be addressing that this morning. talking about an incremental revenue project here in the landing building. And I think most of you are aware that we've got our kickoff for the $15 vouchers, monthly vouchers for use here. You should have received those. If you didn't, they're available in the office. We've been working on bulk trash with the public. And we've had a couple of communications on this. There's one in the e-blast. But how many people have received their schedules from the city for this year? Just about everybody, most people. What it does, it lays out, and we tried to get this changed, but we didn't succeed. It says that bulk trash in this area be picked up the second and the fourth week of the second and the fourth weeks of the month, Monday through Saturday. And what we've done, we got an agreement with Republic, who picks up the bulk trash, that they'll shoot for picking it up on Monday. And the purpose of that, working on that last year, was to reduce the amount of time that bulk trash sits on our curbs. So it's recommended that you put your trash out like Saturday, Sunday, or the Monday before 7 o'clock of bulk trash week. Use your schedules. It has the dates of the weeks, but the dates of the week happen to coincide with the first Monday. So just use your schedules as the first Monday is what the dates mean. But I think we're seeing like a 40 to 50% reduction in bulk trash on the street as a result of getting that cooperation from the public. And got a nice relationship. It used to be the city was in between, but now we have a direct relationship with a contact person in the public. And anytime they miss stuff, we give them the addresses, and they usually make a special trip to pick it up. So partnership works.
Bruce, can I ask a quick question about that bulk pickup? I have more neighbors to ask me, what are the rules and regulations on how big of piles you can put out there? Are we limited? And I know we're limited to things we can put out there, but what about the size of, like, if you just fill your front yard up, is that expected to be, or is that our responsibility to pay to have that done?
There are size regulations on the Tuesday and Friday pickups in terms of how much they'll pick up.
I'm talking bulk.
I know, I'm not aware of limits on bulk. The only admonition I would give you would be, it's gotta be where they can get it, at the clamps. You've got an island down on Canada Court, and people occasionally put stuff down there, but they can't get at it, so we have to move it or pick it up ourselves. And we do back them up with our maintenance. If there's something that's difficult to pick up, Chuck will go down, pick it up, take care of it. So we're trying to, bottom line, we're trying to keep bulk trash, any kind of trash, to a minimum in the neighborhood, and I think we're making some progress.
It has to sit on the curb, and it's got to be not under a tree or things like that. They use an open box truck with a clamp on it to pick it up, so it's got to be accessible.
But like big tree trunks and limbs and things, I've had several of the neighbors to ask me if I cut down my tree, can I put that in that thing? And I said, I'll have to check on
It
that.
can't be longer than 4 feet.
Oh, that's what I'm.
Okay, good, thanks, Jeff.
Yes, Scott. Yes, can you hear me?
We're working a relay system, Scott's in Key West.
Never got it.
Oh, that's okay.
Beautiful there. I know. I was like, hey, I know that bar.
That a one-on-one conversation or anything for the group?
1 second. Go ahead.
Okay. Last thing I put in the e-blast, I think it's the most important. We've got a lot of things going on. It's a lot of things going in a good direction. But we have a lot of people that are volunteering for committees. We've got a lot of people that are giving us input. We got people walking around the neighborhood with the dogs in a trash bag, not only picking up after the dogs, picking up trash around the community. So the strength of our community, the progress of our community really depends on you all. So I want to reinforce the welcome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for caring. Thanks for helping make a better place. So, thank you. Okay, we are on to the next report. Yeah, treasurer's report.
Scott, we're on to the treasurer's report.
Okay, go ahead, see, you just give it more.
Actually, I can hear you pretty good right now.
Oh, they can?
Yes.
Okay. Well, first off, we're in much better shape than we were 3 or 4 months ago. We're getting better, and I'm saying it's still stable. You've got all the reports are posted. So, I think we're in good shape, and I'll let the landing get the good news about the landing, before we talk about the good news of the landing.
Thanks, Scott.
Okay.
Okay, so we did. We had a positive cash flow of $22,443.27 for the month of December. So good job, Will, and your team. Along with countless volunteers that came down to make our holiday very successful. I think you know Julie Stokes spearheaded a lot of the decorations, along with Karen Owens. Many more volunteers. I know Betty donated lights. We really kept it tight with decorations. There was very little budget. We used what we had in-house, and they did an amazing job. I thought it looked beautiful in here. We also hosted for the first time ever our golf cart parade on a Sunday, and we saw our participation rise to like at least 30%. We had over 30 golf carts plus cars participated. We had a fantastic time. And then everybody came down to the landing. So I think we all know now what's going to happen next year. We're going to take over the ballroom, have Santa in the ballroom, plus have all of the grill as well. We're going to keep it on a Sunday. It will be December the 1st. So we're trying to tie more events on the outside and sort of kind of cohesively bring them on the inside to the landing. Kind of, do a partnership there. The more awareness that we can let people know that this is your club, your restaurant, it's better for all of us, and it just makes our community thrive. So we'll be doing more and more events out in the community, and then maybe tying them into the restaurant. We're working with Kid Fish to do some kind of promotion for the kids inside the landing. I think Will has 2 February Valentine's Day, correct? We're doing the traditional Valentine's Day, and Will, am I correct that we're not going to take away karaoke that night?
We're not.
We're going to keep karaoke. We want people, because sometimes that's, how you want to celebrate Valentine's Day. And then we'll also have Friday night, which you'll do a promotion on that night as well, right? So you get 2 days to celebrate Valentine's Day if you want to, and maybe even through the weekend. So we have a big Super Bowl party planned. Will be updating his events in our calendar, and that kind of ties in with events underneath the landing. What I wish to speak to you about. We are putting up an event calendar that Evan's going to help us with, and Will's going to participate. We met a week ago Wednesday, and a bunch of residents in the community all got together, and we all spoke about what we'd like to see. More events coming into the community that are free, of value to our residents, just to make our community just more fun, really. I personally haven't asked the board yet, but I'd like to bring goat yoga here to Chandler's up in our dream belt. So I have to get approval to bring in livestock, but I think it's something that we can talk about down the road, but to have up in our green belt right across from, I don't know if we have a name for it up there, but it's right, the green belt across from the castle. So anyway, I'd like to name that too. We need a name. So we want to have a community garden up there. And Judy and Nancy are putting together a proposal. They haven't brought it to the board just yet, but they'll have it by next month. And we'd like to bring a community garden up there where the kids can participate and actually see things grow and maybe have a butterfly garden. It's that space up there that we're not really utilizing. I think that we can utilize it a little bit better and make it beautiful. So there's lots of ideas that we're rolling around. We're doing a turkey trot the Saturday before Thanksgiving. So you'll see all of this in the calendar. We're going to put it out quarterly, so you're not just totally blasted with 12 months, but you'll know 3 months out what's happening in our community. And most events are free or very small cost. And it just kind of enhances your living in our community. Good job, Will, for the sales and congratulations. I know a few people were a little bit upset over New Year's Eve because they couldn't just pop in here and have a beer. We did charge every seat in this place, and it all went to food sales. So if you're taking over a seat all night, you really should, it was a small amount. It was $25 in the grill per seat, and I believe next door it was $100, but that was dinner and dancing. I don't know if you could go anywhere in Rockwall and have a place all night from, you opened up at 7 until past midnight. Plus, the fireworks committee put on fantastic fireworks, the best show we've ever had. So kudos to the fireworks committee. That was completely free. That was money that you all have donated and raised throughout the year. So it did not cost anything to the landing to put that show on. So we had a wonderful last part of the quarter, and we hope for more to come. I think you had 3 weddings in January, correct, this month?
So far, 2 weddings, 1 reception.
Okay, so that's good, and then we've got Super Bowl, and we have Valentine's Day in February, so we're hoping to see that needle keep moving up and making us profitable.
So you want to talk about delivery, lunch delivery real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Just, if everybody doesn't know, we started lunch delivery Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, from 11 to 3, so we're trying to get the word out there. We had a lot of requests for it, so we kicked it off. We had a little light start, but usually about 1 a day. So if you're at home, on lunch, just call, we're ready to you. And then we just signed with the Grubhub, so that'll be kicking off in probably about 5 to 7 days, and that'll be outside of community delivery as well.
Hey, Will,
Yes, sir.
is there a service charge for the delivery?
No, just 20% for food.
We're in here, we're in our community, and the condo's right outside, right? You'll deliver over there? Yeah, anything that's Chandler's, right? For free.
Imagine.
Oh, can we talk about flags? That's, I'm so sorry. It's brought to our attention that sometimes the flags aren't raised or lowered. Will and his team really do not have anything to do with the flags. They concentrate on what's immediately inside the landing with labor and food, service, of course. So we need to make sure that our board is taking care of the flags. And Randy brought it up that maybe some of our flags are a little bit torn looking. So I would like to propose to the board that we either have someone check that out, or whether we delegate someone to do that, or is over that, just so it always looks nice.
The flags have all been put in place since.
Oh, since that, awesome.
And the flags here were raised, a couple of us actually changed to Blake Kuiper's. He figured out the mystery, knew the mystery on how to get them raised back up, so that's all.
Management report?
Okay, well, first of all, a lot of thanks from the office staff to Evan for all the hard work he's done and tireless efforts in getting the town square app implementation and our targets live date of February 1st. So we couldn't have done it without your help, and we still continuing to assist. We have already requested to begin the audit process. So the 12/31 financials that are posted, those are preliminary until we go through audit and then post our year-end journal entries. We expect to have the audit complete no later than April or May of this year versus August, September, as has been done in the past. And Scott's working with me along with the audit group. Our aging this month, we haven't closed delinquencies because we have to do the 22 post payments, would be Monday morning, runs around 25,000. We have, Cheryl had mentioned last night that one of the homes that was on the fire list, it's been a home that was damaged by fire several years ago. As of Friday, is now complete. And due to the combined efforts of the homeowner and the compliance team, that is corrected. We have one other home, I believe, that's still in process. We have the pet fair sign-up sheets. name the event booth registration online, so if you contact either the office or security, if you'd like to sign up to have a booth at the pet fair or would like to participate and name the event. That's our first inaugural pet fair, March 23rd of this year with the rain date of March 30th. Along with the pet fair, we have some interest in the community. We have a gentleman that was referred by security. He's a beekeeper. And so he's going to have a booth at the pet fair. And he'd like to kind of educate the community as far as the benefits of bees. He's wanted to put a bee pod or a beehive in one or two of our parks. Aging communities or aging homes, bees would like to nestle behind your siding or in that home. That would attract the bees away from homes and towards these pods. We also have, in regards with the kids committee and the community gardens, I need to get with Judy and Nancy. So when the ponds committee has requested a project to do a dredging, I believe it's Sovereign Pond, we have the ability to have that silt tested. That silt would be beneficial to be the bottom layer of those gardens and fill the top with peat moss. We are looking at our common areas to see if maybe there's a benefit to attract hummingbirds and butterflies and to kind of beautify those areas. That will also help with the bees as far as the cross-pollination. Spring flowers will be looking at that soon, and Cheryl's been a big part of that, is really wanting to bring a lot of color into the community, along with maintenance. We're looking at our ponds as far as the tree damage, Sovereign Pond especially. I'm not sure if it's a beaver or a nutria. They tend to burrow underneath the water. You won't see it to the water level. Kind of makes the dam look like cheese, with cheese. And to decide what we need to do as far as maybe we'll have a project where we'll either paint the trees with the pruning paint, make that color closer to the color of the tree, not the white paint, or if we're going to wrap them or fence trees in an area. So we've had two groups out looking at that. One of the gentlemen's going to have he will have a booth at the pet fair also to kind of the indigenous animals that are in the area. We have a resident that has offered some fitness equipment and a pool table for sale. Good equipment, so that's something that the board will look at as far as a fitness room. I know there's been some discussion with Scott. And we're going through our C3 training with Town Square and our compliance tours. That'll be more of probably having to get an Android tablet for the tours. And basically all that I have on my list. We just are very thankful. One thing I did want to mention is, as far as with our residents, when you're out walking and you're walking on a path or you've got your kids down at the park, look up and look around. We want to make sure, because we've been more reactive instead of proactive as far as looking up in the trees. Do you see deadfall that's over a walking path? Do you see deadfall in a tree that's over a playground? If you see areas of the walkway that need repair, letting us know before somebody is injured. And just all of us, when we have the new Town Square up, you'll be able to shoot a picture of it right to the office. So we just want to make the community as safe as possible and for everybody to kind of work together. And basically that's what we're working on right now.
T, with regards to the pond, Karen and her kids crew are planning a big cleanup right before Kidfish.
That'd
They
be great.
help out. So we'll want to coordinate that with the office.
Sounds perfect. And just anytime you have any questions or want to come in the office and have a cup of coffee, just stop by your office.
Kevin?
So new website is hopefully going to be going live in about a week or so. It is nearly finished, and looking forward to releasing that. The Town Square app is in beta testing right now. Probably be in about a week. Probably do about another week and a half or two, and then we'll roll out the app to everyone in the community. It's got a lot of features in it that we're not maybe going to use right at the very beginning, but there's some opportunity to really change some things for the positive on the security level and some other aspects for the community. So lots of excitement about that app. I've been doing a lot more media, trying to cover events that are going on with good quality photography and video. Just as again, a nice promo of the community and everything that we have going on here. And in fact, we ran basically a giveaway over the last 2 weeks. And I also reached out to 3 of our residents that had given us a 1-star rating. And we got those changed to 5 stars, as well as received 19 new recommendations. We've gone from a 4.2 star rating to 4.8 out of 5 in just the last 3 weeks. These are small things. Yeah, no, it's good. These are small things, but at the same time, these are things that can impact our home ownership, our values, and the outside perspective of what's going on at Chambers. So it was good to make positive changes on that side of things. And then we're going to continue to do more photos and video for events, as well as just general coverage of the landing, so that we can, from the outside in, look as good as we truly are. Because this is an amazing neighborhood, and we want it to be a place that people are on a waiting list to get into our neighborhood. That's good for our home values, and it's good for our community.
Yeah, why don't we open it up for questions, comments, sharing from the community? Yeah.
I noticed that we're not putting the names of the people that are on this forum, and we used to do that. I think it's important so we know who has the issues. And they used to be recorded in minutes, as I recall, and it's not being recorded now. So I just request that after the person states their name, put that on our minutes.
Yeah, there was actually an email that went out about that yesterday. About that.
Okay, good.
So yeah, moving forward, that's going to be taken care of.
Very good.
Great. Gentlemen?
Bill Outlout. First off, I want to thank all y'all for all the work you do. You know, I know from sitting on boards that you get a lot more people griping and a lot fewer people patting you on the back saying, good job. So good job, y'all. And as I finish with that statement, let me make a comment or complaint.
Go ahead.
I was flipping through my phone to research some of the things that we were talking about on here, and I go into Chandler's Landing community and to request for things. I've clicked on about 5 or 6 links before I can find anything to do that's valuable for this. As I get to the Chandler's Landing website and I go to neighborhood news, there's nothing. When I go to upcoming events, there's nothing. When I went into one, it took me to a Yelp app. It shows us the landing with 0 stars on there. So I just thought I'd point that out, that there's some holes in our program there, and we might want to go through our Google searches and things like that to see if things are being pointed to it. Because like I said, I went through 5 things before I got to some pertinent data there. We might want to find some areas where we can get rid of those links that are not pushing people towards us.
Well, the events haven't been uploaded yet. We recently just met to get that put together. I wanted to work with Evan on the town square because I believe there is a way to put that information in there that would make it a lot easier for our residents. I do notice that, like even in my own work, they still show Morton's downtown Dallas at 501 Elm Street on the Yelp. There's nothing I can do about it. It was there for years. We've been uptown for going on 8 years. And sometimes, there's just old data out there, just depending on, and I don't really know how to fix that myself. But
Yeah, and then the website that you're mentioning is actually about to be replaced. That's what we're talking about as far as the new website coming. So, there hasn't been a lot of attention to that site because of the fact that we're changing over for it. So, and then on the new site, a lot of our communication to the neighborhood is going to take place behind the scenes, because that's not necessarily for the general public. So the new site will really be front-facing marketing and general information about the about the community, and then anyone that logs in either via the website, it'll have a login, or on your app that we're hoping you all download for Town Square. It's all the same backend, and so there will be all of the events will be listed there. Communication can happen through there. But a lot of that's gonna, again, be behind the scenes because that's more our business versus external.
And you got a target date or approximate date when that switchover might take place?
I'm hoping the website would be live by the end of this next week, and then the Town Square backend part of the website and the app, hoping for February 1st or somewhere in that first week. So,
Okay, any other input or comments, folks? Lynn?
Oh, I just had a comment. I saw the new picture of the area for you, Taylor's, on Facebook.
Yep.
And it's beautiful.
Yep. Oh, and that also reminds me, this is our 45th year. And so I don't know if any of you guys seen on Facebook, but I changed our profile, created an image that basically celebrates 45 years. And so that's up there. And then we won't do that every year, obviously, but I would imagine something big in the works for our 50th year.
We should do a 45th party though. Is there a particular date when you did research?
Not as well, I think it's like March or April. So anyways,
45?
we're aging gracefully.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we allowing more than one sign up? It was one for household to get in, or is it still only one for household for flyers and for any information getting to the website?
For the $15 for the voucher?
No, they're just to log in and be, and to have access to everything with one, is it still one for home?
The old website was set up based upon how many, it was not per household.
You can get some basics of it and to get into like even the financials and see what.
Right,
it's
yeah.
still one for home.
No, that can be more than one on the old site, but we're about to move away from that. On the new site, every homeowner can have access to financials and documents.
Okay. Okay, and then on the audit, who's doing the audit? Is it third party or is it? It is third party.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, what's your name? Jennifer McClary? Jennifer McClary?
Okay,
Yeah, Pam, I appreciate your e-blast, because sometimes I don't have time to go into the website or the app, but e-blast, very positive, which is nice, and, you know, just the e-blast periodically, it's easier to pick those up as you're reading the other emails.
great, so we're gonna try and get those out more often.
Well,
Maybe
that
sure.
one was a surprise and pleasant. Yeah.
Get the name, Carol?
Pam, what's your last name?
Mondo.
Thanks, Ben.
So how do we get signed up for e-blasts?
We need your email
Okay.
in the office.
Okay.
What's actually good about that is quite a few residents have contacted the office because perhaps maybe they didn't get their voucher. So along with that voucher, we're getting a lot of updates as far as your primary email, making sure that that has been corrected.
I guess when we signed up, they said it was just only going for one day, so that was.
It's gonna be your primary email, so call the office, and let's just verify that we have the correct email. Did receive the voucher.
You can only go to a spouse,
Don't keep it one.
right, so that's not for my wife and myself can't do it.
Right,
That's right, because of the voucher,
Yes.
so maybe we can come up with a solution where it's secondary that doesn't get that voucher. Right, so kick out our information, so I think that's where the gap is a little bit, but I get why we don't do it.
For the vouchers, yeah, but everything else needs to now.
Get the name in the back, sir.
No, I didn't.
Check the board,
I'm sorry, Chip, what?
for the board.
Thank you, Chip.
Joe Mundo. Is it one voucher per property? Per
Yes.
property owned?
Per month.
Pardon?
One voucher per property per month.
Right.
Okay. So if we haven't received more than one, we should contact.
So what's going on right now is Constant Contact does not like to send out the same email to this, the same like voucher email to the same email address multiple times. It has like a protector on that so that it's not spamming or whatever. So we're trying to figure that out. We obviously don't want to have you go and create a separate email for each property or whatever. So, but we can always print your extras out at the office.
You previously, it's back to some earlier conversation, when you set up the e-blast account a number of months ago, it was one email to the property. So we, in our case, we split the emails, different email addresses for the two properties, and only received one voucher.
And maybe that the others were not updated. Constant Contact did not have as many email accounts listed as perhaps it should have, and so that's what we've been working to correct.
Okay.
So yes, contact us so we can make sure that you get that.
Okay, anybody else? Got another chance at the end of the meeting. Anybody else right now? Okay, thank you. T, why don't we have Scott pick up his first and third items on old business?
Scott? Scott?
Not suntan.
Scott? He's still here, but
He's just not here.
In the triangle.
Scott? Earlier he said he had put something.
Okay. Well,
Still online.
anybody want to speak to the vouchers, just anything we haven't covered on the vouchers? Status of vouchers. One per property per month.
And we'll be doing
Yeah, Will, you've had pretty good response to the vouchers.
It's anywhere from 2 to about 11 a day.
That's awesome.
Scott was going to bring us up to date on the status of membership in Yacht Club of America. He told me yesterday that the only thing that he lacked to get that finished was to write a check. So a check would be going out, I think it was $500 a
Yeah,
year.
something like that he was gonna get with me, it's actually in our payables, so as you see returns.
Yeah.
So,
Now,
probably next week.
we'll make a list of yacht clubs that's available for, and then any member of the community can visit. Okay. We're going to talk a little bit about a drainage policy update, and we'll open that up immediately for any questions you might have on this. Jim Choate, who now deceased, but lived over on Rainbow and served many years on the board through the late 1990s, the early 2000s, put together a very comprehensive drainage policy in 1999. And it had, the essence of it was that we live on a hill. So the owner of a property that's downhill from a property uphill, be that property private or be a community property, is responsible for the drainage that comes down the hill. Another aspect of that was that we don't get into, community association doesn't get into neighbor-to-neighbor disputes. Another one was that community association was responsible for green belts, parks, common areas, and things like that as it relates to the drainage problems. And it was amended slightly in 2004. A question came up about what about drainage issues on private property. It was researched by our legal counsel, and they have advised us that owners are responsible for drainage situations on their property. So that's a change. The drainage policy has been updated, and we will confirm a vote on it at the end of, near the end of the meeting. But I wanted to just mention the background as well as the current status. So it's a tighter policy. It's like a page instead of 4 pages, but it has essentially the same concepts that have been in place since 1999 with the addition of the private property responsibility. So with that, we'll open it up to any questions that anybody has about drainage policy.
Yeah, the change to a private property responsibility. Who was doing the ownership? Was the actual community that was responsible for more? They call like the back.
It was not clear, that's why we clarified it, Chip.
Okay.
Yeah, it was not addressed.
So it's more of a clarification.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody else? Yeah, Bill?
I'm just kind of confused in this, in the situation of my property where we've got the drainage slough that runs between me and Long. Whose responsibility?
I believe the community association is already taking responsibility.
I think they have, but I'm just wondering in the,
That won't change.
so water running from the community through a drainage property, which is ours and Long's together, is managed by the association.
And in this case, I mean, there's water coming from multiple places. So it's not a typical uphill,
So
downhill.
my neighbor draining onto my property is my responsibility.
That would be-
No, my next door
Well,
neighbor,
it's
my next door
prohibited.
neighbor,
You can't discharge sideways. Somebody is, let's say you're lateral to somebody, which you are with Mr. Wong. If he ran his drainage over on your property, which is not downhill, that would not be, that's not allowed. You're not allowed to discharge laterally.
like my up the way neighbor. If he's got something going on that's having water come from his property onto my property directly, that's my responsibility. I
And
understand
you
that.
come to your responsibility.
But not from your side neighbor. Side neighbor can't discharge water onto your.
So to keep that a little bit, it's side neighbor up one.
Yeah.
But that's where we have our issue.
Yeah.
So it's
Runs
lateral,
downhill.
but then it's up the hill one. Because their form drains down and then it kicks sideways, right? I know just to confuse all, but that's where our problem is.
Why don't we just talk about that, just maybe after the meeting, whenever you want to, we'll figure it out. Yeah.
The association repaired the street, like the drainage for the street. When we bought, somebody closed up the drainage. And so we've now been made aware that our drainage doesn't drain properly because somebody closed the street drainage up. Is that the previous owner or that the association that does the street? Is it street repair like on the area we used to? Is that back to us? Whoever closed it up?
So you're saying that the storm drain and the street has been closed?
So when they did a street repair and then they closed up, I guess, the drainage. So when our neighbors just did a new retaining wall, I guess we were losing water down that direction. Now that's all fixed and it's affecting our yard and I was told there was drainage area there. We closed that. And it stays wet, it's saturated. So does that go back on us?
What's your address? I'll come over and look at it.
112
Talk with you about it.
Is it Easterner, 112?
112 East. I'll follow up with you,
Okay.
we'll look at it together.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, thank you. We will move on to new business. First item on the agenda is an incremental revenue project for the landing. We have a resident, Rick Morrison, up on Columbia. He's got a sprinkler head business down on Beltline and 30. And a few years ago, he was kind of interested in downsizing. So he began to downsize, and the question became, what do I do with the space? So he started leasing out the space. We found out that that was just as lucrative and a lot easier to run than his sprinkler head business. So he came to me about 6 months ago, came to the board and said, I'd like to take a look at the landing with you and see if we couldn't rent out some space. We got close to 25,000 feet in here. We're not using a lot of it. So there's a team that's comprised of Rick and Chip, USA, and Will, and they're looking at the possibility of renting out some space. Target areas would be downstairs for the most part. One of the side benefits of this is we concluded that we couldn't very well be renting out space with leaks. So we got a leak initiative going on. The goal is to make this building leak-free. which it probably hasn't been in this century. So John Lewis is heading this up, our environmental committee consultant, and he's got a good start. We've identified the source of a lot of leaks that have been here for a long, long time. So our goal, again, bottom line, we're looking to make this a leak-free facility. So the property, the rental will turn out where it turns out, but at a minimum, we ought to get a leak-free building out of the idea. So that's the goal on that. Okay. B and C under new business are a couple of decisions that need to be made by the board. We've got 3 safety projects behind the cabanas. One relates to a raised step. We've got a little walkway back there, and there's a step where a limb has grown underneath the concrete panel. The panel is up a good 6-7 inches, which is a pretty clear trip hazard. So one part of that cabana initiative is to fix that. If you've ever been back there, there's like 4 mini sets of stairs, like 3 or 4 stairs 4 times back there. And two of those have split railroad timbers that have really crevices that are a trip hazard. So the second part of this is to put up a couple of handrails and either replace or fill in the railroad ties that are trip hazards. The third one is a retaining wall that's adjacent to the tennis courts. And it's got a lot of split timbers in there. And it represents, it's just about ready to fall down. So we're going to do some, it's kind of a cheaper alternative. What we're going to do is re-slope the hillside a little bit and eliminate a good half of the railroad tie wall, the worst half. So that, we had 3 bids on that. And anybody got the low bid on that, Andy?
Yes.
Okay. Mark, you want to make a motion on that?
Yeah, we're talking just about which one are we talking about? Damaged railroad ties, Keystone, and all of that. What do you want to do?
Yeah,
Hill?
let's do the re-slope towards the tennis courts, which is, the low bid was $49.52. $4,952.
Yes, I will so move on that one.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. The second piece of that I talked about, the raised concrete walk and the stairs that needed a fix, 2 handrails. We got the low bid there was $18.40.
Also move it, we go for low bid on that one.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
If any of you have ever wondered about the wisdom of getting 3 bids, the bids that we just voted on, there's a discrepancy of 3-fold between the low bid and the high bid. And it's all the same scope. They're all reputable contractors that have done previous work, but it kind of speaks to the wisdom of getting multiple bids to get the best price. The last one is the collapsed Keystone wall behind 331 Harbor View. We've been waiting on this to make sure that our fix for the drainage and the drainage pressure that caused this wall to collapse was taken care of. And we've got feedback from Brian, lives at 331 Harbor View, that says, hey, thanks, it's fixed. So we're going to go ahead and fix the wall. And the low bid there, it's $7,200.
Also move on that one.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We're up to parking lot courageous cul-de-sac.
Did you have anything else? Property.
I think we talked about that, yeah.
All right, so we have had ongoing issues in the cul-de-sac on Courageous where people, it's actually marked as a fire lane. We've had folks just park there, I suspect, coming in the lane. sorry, Chip, too lazy to drive around and park in the parking lot at the landing. There's not a lot of in front of home parking on Courageous anyhow. And so, try to help out, the neighbors, at the end of the street there, which for years, as we know, there were no homes there. To hopefully, retrain our residents to come and park in the parking lot. I've been working with Sandy to get some no parking signs. And they're a little bit more stringent in terms of no parking violators being towed. So I'd like to get a motion to purchase 2 signs. The cost of these signs is, I think there's not $400 of that. It's not even that, it's probably $100. And then get Chuck to get them installed. We need to take a more aggressive approach to our fire lanes, particularly on that Courageous as well as here at the landing. So I could just get a motion to authorize us to post that as no parking violators.
Second.
Put a price on that, like up to $150.
Yeah.
They won't even
It
be
won't
enough.
be that, only be $100.
So we have a motion to purchase and install 2 signs down on the Courageous cul-de-sac.
Yes.
On the landing.
No, the landing is, that'll be probably next month. We have fire lane issues here at the landing, but it's, without getting into the details, it's limited to typically one individual. We're working to get that individual to not park in the fire lane. So right now, these signs are for Courageous only. So
The motion is purchase and install 2 signs for Courageous up to the price of $150.
yes.
Is there a second? Okay, Evan seconds. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, the last item, as you know, Chuck Gift is our pool expert, also certifications and training. And he's already got a jump on checking out equipment for the swim season, which is probably a good 4 months away. Feel free this morning. Anyway, we got a small pump on a small pool that has gone out. He's got 3 bids on that. The low bid for purchase, install, and 1-year warranty on parts and labor is $16.95. And that seems to be the ideal solution here. So we'll use the broken down pump. We'll dismantle that and use it for spare parts, except for the part that's not working. And I'd like a motion for approval of that $16.95.
Second.
Second, Chip. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you.
Sorry.
Mark. I said second. Okay, you're in the finish line here, but we have owner visitor forum number 2. Any questions on anything left over? Yeah, Jim first.
Thank you for bringing up the great sharing that traffic and damage playing, so I appreciate that. Question, being excited that we'll have the parking and towing signs, right? I assume that we'll have some additional security to help align with that. I think a lot of times our issues today with that is that we'll call and it's 15, 20 minutes later by the time we see someone and the person's gone. And we had about the other day where we just asked to pull up a little bit, the park right in front of the golf cart path. And instead of anything else, it was just 2 girls cursing and yelling at us, basically. So, I just asked that we have that partnership with security as well, and make sure that it's enforced.
I'll talk with Craig and make sure that's a priority.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, Chip, I just want to make a comment. I run through there, as you know, because I say hello to you and Laney a lot going down there. But the cul-de-sac down there has families that get together frequently. There's small children playing down there. There's people sitting out. It's a real nice community area. and it deserves the attention you're asking for, and we're trying to give you.
Thank you for that.
Appreciate you.
I think just, if I might, Bruce, there's just a couple of observations in the community, and this is probably not the group that needs to hear this, but I would just respectfully pass it on to your friends. In the last 30 days, there have been 2 arrests in Chandler's for DWI, one on a golf cart and one on a vehicle, actually next door to my house. And there's a little bit of a misnomer that you can't be arrested for DWI on private streets. That's not the case. So, we're having, these are unfortunate incidents. Fortunately, nobody's been hurt. There's both cases property damage to other than the individuals driving the vehicles. I would just also state that there's been some ongoing concern, and we need to report these things to security. But if you see somebody driving unsafely, especially in the golf carts, kids, let security know. They'll do their best they can to get to them. Just depends on what's going on, what the patrol is. But clearly, if these are just things we all need to be aware of, just as neighbors, of what's going on. So, just want to make everybody aware of that. Security board we have a good relationship with the Rockwell Police Department. If there is a crime occurring, call the police first and let the security people know second. They're not there to make the security staff is to really observe and report. But if there is an emergency, start with 911 and then work your way to the security staff. They'll know when they come through the gates anyhow. But again, if you have a true emergency, dial 911. Don't call security first. You just delay in the process.
Anything further? Yeah, ma'am?
Encore.
That's all right. Go for it.
I think they finally learned how to install a new transformer. But last month, we've been very inconvenienced by Encore. And their learning process of installing that new transformer, which caused all of us to have several. Is there any way that Encore could alert Chandler's Landing, that it could alert the homeowners that they're going to be working on their equipment, that they're going to be without electricity for 2 to 7 hours, as it was the other day? Is there any way that Encore could at least, tell Chandler's, that could at least tell the homeowners? Because they just come and just shut off electricity. In the last instance, it was from 1 to 7, 1 p.m. in the afternoon, 7 p.m.
I think that's a great idea. Cheryl, could you take that?
Sometimes it's just finding the transformer box. I went out and met them when there was a big blowout, walked them behind my property so they don't have to go around, because we secured our fence. I backed up to the road. So we secured our fence so coyotes can't walk through, and we didn't want outsiders kind of walking through, and we wanted it more secure. So there is a transformer box not far from mine. So I took him out my back gate and showed him, because this is a lot easier than him having to go all the way around.
They're less than 5 feet.
Yeah. So maybe if we had a little map, for them and highlighted it, how they can access it,
One time when Bruce Howard was here, because I gave him the assignment and I looked at it, we've had every transformer, every city water shut-off valve, every AT&T box, pedestal marked on a drawing, but I suspect that was on the wayside.
I think we're referring not to emergencies.
No, I understand.
Scheduled work.
Yeah.
The instance of the transformer on Camden Court, they had 4 trucks in. So this was clearly a scheduled event for 7 hours. And if there could be some sort of an arrangement where they would notify the office when they're going to schedule work, and then the office would send out a blast, and at least you'd be semi-prepared. It seemed rather simple. we're a large enough community that we should be able to bring that courtesy.
Good idea. Cheryl's gonna follow it up. Okay, anybody else? Entertain a motion for adjournment? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Jumping on here. We got two votes to ratify. One would be the approval of the board minutes of December 15th.
The statement says port 7 in there and port 6 is where the situation was.
Okay. That's in the middle of the first page, correct?
Yes. That's before the 6. That was the one that had changed on the contract.
Right.
So it says 7, it should be 6.
Yeah. That'd be in the middle of the first page of the minutes, December 15th. We will make that change.
The 7 is coming to the following.
Right. You are correct. Okay. So can we confirm that with that amendment?
Yeah, I'll move that we approve that amendment.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And then, we need a vote, we need a motion and a vote to update the drainage policy.
So you know, we know that Scott with the city marshal.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the drainage policy as published.
I'll second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
No further business? Motion for adjournment?
I so moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All for coming.
My wife. Forum of the